Disclaimer. I doesn't claim any of the arts. All the picture shown belongs to the respective artist and company. If you are original owner and want me to remove the video, I will do it immediately. Just send me an email to inform me. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. On the bustling 50th floor, the streets thrummed with life. People hurried by, chatting and laughing, when a woman turned to her friend and asked if he had heard the latest rumor. The man, confused, asked what it was about. She whispered that it was about Ghostface. Meanwhile, inside a stunning building, Cha Jin-hyuk found himself encircled by a group ready to confront him. Whispers of his arrival at the 50th floor spread like wildfire, painting him as an intruder in their eyes. The crowd's hostile glares made it clear they intended to attack. But Cha Jin-hyuk was not defenseless. He summoned a swirling purple orb, awakening the fallen soldiers of the Holy Kingdom as his undead shadow warriors. One by one, they rose from the ground, ready for battle. The soldiers wasted no time, charging at Cha Jin-hyuk's foes and spilling blood across the cobblestones. Just then, a group of assassin-class climbers attempted to sneak up on Cha Jin-hyuk from behind. They were unaware that despite being a necromancer, he was incredibly powerful, and so were his allies. Miho and Haru sprang into action, countering the ambush and leaving the attackers stunned by their sudden appearance. Before long, a massive explosion erupted, consuming the would-be ambushers. From a distance, an orange-haired man watched the chaos unfold with fury in his eyes. He clenched his teeth in anger as he tried to understand why this was happening. As the branch manager of a guild tied to the Holy Kingdom, he felt compelled to act. A green aura surrounded him as he prepared to fight back. He began chanting a spell that summoned roots and rocks from the ground, merging them into a towering golem that loomed ominously behind him. With a confident laugh, he commanded the golem to protect his proud nation. But Vulcan, witnessing this spectacle, was taken aback while Haru noted that this creature was a monster from the 120th floor. The orange-haired man's confidence faltered as he declared that the tide had turned in his favor now that he had summoned such power. However, just as he was about to command the golem to crush those disrupting the Holy Kingdom's coalition, his hopes shattered when Hendrik, the legendary dragon hunter, who had been reincarnated into a dragon's body, appeared behind him. The orange-haired man was stunned as he watched his supposedly invincible golem fall apart effortlessly. Unbeknownst to him, Cha Jin-hyuk stood right behind him. Cha Jin-hyuk seized him by the neck and lifted him like a doll. "You're from the Shikari branch on this floor," Cha Jin-hyuk said coldly. Gasping for breath, the orange-haired man asked if Cha Jin-hyuk planned to make the Holy Kingdom his enemy. "No," Cha Jin-hyuk replied with a smirk. "Why would I?" With that, he crushed the man's neck in his fist and declared that he had already become their enemy 10 years ago when Ghostface shattered his climbing records, leaving their guilds in ruins. Could it be? Is Ghostface really that strong? As Cha Jin-hyuk removed his mask and instructed his companions to continue their destruction of their enemy's plans. The next day, as Cha Jin-hyuk and his allies strolled through the streets, people recognized them as members of Heaven's Deviants, notorious for attacking guilds affiliated with 9-Star. Turning to Baal, Cha Jin-hyuk asked for his thoughts on their quest. Baal mentioned that reaching the 100th floor didn't seem necessary for him. Hendrik pointed out that Cha Jin-hyuk was revealing too much about himself, while Vulcan added that even though Cha Jin-hyuk had erased all traces of magic up to the 40th floor, Haru questioned if he was doing this on purpose. Cha Jin-hyuk nodded. He was tired of raiding guilds for information and wanted them to come to him instead. He opened his status window for all to see. His traits included gluttony and all-rounder, while his skills were combined tolerance and enhanced endurance. With this knowledge in hand, Cha Jin-hyuk realized that even if they were ambushed again, he could handle it thanks to his demonic energy and divine power, even if he felt weak at times. However, he acknowledged his lack of weaponry. Hendrik advised against greediness and reminded him that he wielded a weapon crafted by Gino, Shadowless, but obtaining something better would be tough unless they climbed higher. Worried about her grandfather Shadowless's well-being, Haru looked sad. Miho noticed this and pointed out that Hendrik had upset her, leaving him surprised at her observation. To cheer Haru up and find a new weapon for himself, Cha Jin-hyuk suggested they visit a special place, the black market on the 51st floor, famous for its rare treasures not found in regular auctions. Cha Jin-hyuk promised Haru he would get her something nice if she spotted something she liked. Her face lit up with joy at this promise. Miho also expressed interest in finding something special there too. As they walked on, Cha Jin-hyuk reflected on Haru's happiness and regretted not buying her something sooner. Suddenly, someone shouted excitedly about shopping. A red round object flew toward them, glowing with blue light. Realizing it was a bomb just in time, Cha Jin-hyuk dodged just before it exploded. But before he could catch his breath, a gun was aimed at him from close range. He reacted quickly as the owner fired without hesitation. Miraculously dodging a powerful shot strong enough to demolish buildings left him astonished by such power in a small gun. The girl who shot at him looked slightly disappointed, but remained indifferent to Cha Jin-hyuk's narrow escape at point-blank range. In an instant of rage, Hendrik charged at her from the side, intending to strike her down. However, she calmly said, "Visor," and a system replied, "Yes, ma'am." A blue barrier suddenly shielded her from Hendrik's attack. Hendrik's eyes widened in shock as she donned a robotic exosuit. Thank you for watching my video so far. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. After slipping into her suit, she activated a defensive move known as rebound shock on her shield. When Hendrik's attack hit, it bounced back with such force that it sent him staggering backward in pain. At that moment, Haru and Miho rushed into the fray, both eager to punish the woman for aiming a gun at Hendrik and Cha Jin-hyuk. Haru swung his sword while Miho extended her claws, launching their attacks at the same time. However, the woman surprised them by taking to the air, causing both Haru and Miho to miss their strikes. Haru was taken aback by her ability to fly, while Miho, still a child, joyfully shouted, "It's a plane! It's a plane!" Suddenly, red spheres fell from the sky, landing on top of the two girls. The spheres burst open, releasing a blinding light followed by a massive explosion that knocked the girls unconscious and caused Miho to revert to her fox form while still airborne. The blonde woman remarked that she had high hopes for the super rookie Ghostface and his group but felt disappointed, questioning if this was all they could offer. Cha Jin-hyuk and Hendrik responded simultaneously as they slashed at her, executing an X-shaped attack at close range. The strike was both beautiful and powerful as they walked past her with confidence, certain of their victory. To their shock, however, a gun was suddenly aimed at both of their heads. It was the blonde woman, completely unfazed by their earlier assault. Cha Jin-hyuk realized with dread that this battle wouldn't end as easily as he had hoped. The two men quickly moved away from the gun, but she didn't shoot. Instead, she told them not to be upset because she had something to discuss with them. Moments later, they found themselves atop a building where she removed her mask and introduced herself as Shane, a skilled bounty hunter. Upon hearing the term bounty hunter, Cha Jin-hyuk inferred that he and his team had bounties on their heads and wondered which climber on the mere 50th floor had put a price on them. Shane then revealed that they didn't need to introduce themselves, since she already knew about the super rookie Ghostface and his comrade, the strange dragon. With a confident smirk, she declared that they were her prey. Annoyed, Hendrik pointed his sword at her and asked if those were her final words. She simply laughed and stated that she had changed her mind and proposed a bet instead. A bet she claimed could benefit everyone. Visibly irritated, Hendrik inquired about this bet. She explained that if Cha Jin-hyuk and Hendrik won, she would reveal who had placed bounties on their heads. This revelation shocked Cha Jin-hyuk. He hadn't expected her to share such information. Conversely, Hendrik leapt into the air, ready to strike her with his sword, while declaring he could no longer listen to her nonsense. But Cha Jin-hyuk urgently shouted for him to stop, explaining that if she had backing from the 9-star or the 4 royalties, their journey, just beginning, could become perilous. Thus, they needed her information and had to hear her out. Reluctantly, Hendrik halted as Shane asked if they were now negotiating. Cha Jin-hyuk then inquired about the nature of the bet. She donned her mask again and suggested that battling a formidable opponent is always enjoyable. Her bet was for them to fight right there and then with everything they had. Shocked and frustrated, Hendrik wondered why they had stopped if they were going to fight anyway. She clarified that there were conditions. No matter who won, all three of them must remain alive since Cha Jin-hyuk and Hendrik needed her alive for information. And she didn't intend to kill them either. Hendrik was surprised by her insistence on not killing each other and pondered her true motives. She continued by stating that since it was 2 against 1, Ghostface wasn't allowed to summon his undead soldiers. He agreed, but internally vowed to uncover her plans after defeating her. With a confident grin filled with menace, Hendrik asked if it meant she just needed to stay alive even if he severed all her limbs. With conditions set for battle, it was time for action. As the fight began, a weapon-equipped drone appeared behind Cha Jin-hyuk, targeting him before firing. He deftly dodged it, while unimpressively referring to the drone as a toy as he retrieved something from his coat. However, Shane approached from behind with her gun aimed at him and asked if he had forgotten about her. Then she fired. Cha Jin-hyuk quickly used his soul shield to block the attack just in time as Hendrik dashed toward Shane with deadly intent. Yet she seemed unfazed, as if she anticipated his move before vanishing from sight in an instant. Their eyes widened in shock as Hendrik's attack collided instead with Cha Jin-hyuk's shield. Both were stunned by how their forceful strike redirected back at them and caused significant damage around them. Shane mocked them for their poor teamwork and wondered if their individual prowess had kept them from ever needing to cooperate. Suddenly, Hendrik and Cha Jin-hyuk began arguing fiercely while grabbing each other's collars. Cha Jin-hyuk yelled at Hendrik for being foolish and not realizing he blocked Shane's attack, while Hendrik retorted angrily that Cha Jin-hyuk should have predicted his move instead. Cha Jin-hyuk insisted that Hendrik should match his movements since it was an order from him, the guild master. Hendrik countered by asking him to be rational. Leaving it up to him was key to their victory. Their argument was abruptly interrupted by Shane preparing a devastating attack as she called out to them. She remarked that although they were both strong-willed, it was rude of them to keep ignoring her. With an air of confidence, she asked if they had ever heard of a railgun, and if not, she would show them. A powerful attack conjured a gigantic bright blue beam that illuminated the entire area as it hurtled toward our heroes. Thank you for watching my video so far. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Out of nowhere, a colossal explosion rocked the ground, annihilating everything in its path. Far away, in a tranquil area high above the forest, a shimmering portal began to open. As it fully materialized, Hendrik and Cha Jin-hyuk emerged, their faces showing shock. They plummeted from the sky, crashing into the forest with a jarring thud that left them aching. Cha Jin-hyuk let out a sigh of relief. The emergency teleportation had worked just in time. They had narrowly escaped a perilous situation. He had cast the teleportation spell as a precaution, and it had saved them. Meanwhile, Hendrik was fuming about retreating in the middle of battle. He angrily confronted Cha Jin-hyuk about his decision, but Cha Jin-hyuk quickly silenced him by covering his mouth. Looking up, Cha Jin-hyuk spotted a drone hovering above them. Recognizing it as part of Shane's gear, he realized that she was wielding advanced technology and skills. This made him wonder about her true identity. Recalling Shane's abilities, Cha Jin-hyuk understood she wasn't from Earth. He explained that since the tower connected multiple worlds and dimensions, Shane likely came from another realm with superior technology. This revelation clarified her extraordinary skills. Urging Hendrik to follow his lead was crucial if they wanted to win. Meanwhile, Shane searched the area from above, confident they were close by. Her search was cut short when Cha Jin-hyuk suddenly appeared before her, soaring through the air. She grinned in surprise at his unexpected arrival and mockingly asked if he had given up. "I have a long lifeline," Cha Jin-hyuk replied confidently as he unleashed his binding skill, summoning countless shadowy hands that ensnared Shane. She questioned his intentions, thinking his skill would be significant only to realize it was just a minor spell meant to hinder her movement. Hurt pride surged within her. She interpreted it as him looking down on her. Just then, Hendrik charged from behind her, slashing where Shane stood. She barely dodged his attack and shot him point blank in the head. To her astonishment, Hendrik's head remained intact. He grinned back at her, clearly enjoying the moment. Shane realized that Ghostface had cast a protective barrier around Hendrik, keeping him alive against all odds. Shocked by this revelation, she became vulnerable just long enough for Hendrik to retaliate and slash at her arm, drawing blood for the first time in their fierce battle. "Not bad," she said with a sly grin as Cha Jin-hyuk prepared for another attack. He noted inwardly that Spirit Masters possessed more than just summoning spells. With his Alm trait activated, he intended to share all his buff skills with Hendrik, showcasing what true support looked like. Clapping his hands together triggered a massive explosion that lit up the sky. He shouted to Hendrik as they charged forward together. Meanwhile, Shane watched as Hendrik's speed significantly increased and wondered if Ghostface had cast another spell on him. She turned around abruptly and began firing at him, ordering him to back off. But Hendrik effortlessly dodged her attacks while teasingly asking if she was retreating. As he closed in on her position, he declared he wouldn't let her escape and swung his sword with all his might. Shane managed to block with her barrier but struggled against the force of his blow. Suddenly, she noticed a golden dragon materializing around Hendrik as he unleashed his lightning dragon slash, a powerful strike that pierced through her shield and wounded her. Hendrik landed gracefully after what he thought was a decisive victory, but then stepped right into one of Shane's traps, a nuclear mine she had set earlier. "Consider this a gift for pushing me too far," she exclaimed just before it detonated with catastrophic force. Cha Jin-hyuk rushed forward in concern for his friend but arrived too late. The explosion erupted like a nuclear blast reaching into the clouds above them. Cha Jin-hyuk cursed under his breath while questioning which world Shane came from to wield such destructive weapons. Suddenly he felt a sharp pain as a bullet pierced through his chest. The final blow for Shane, who laughed triumphantly behind him with her gun aimed squarely at Cha Jin-hyuk. "Hendrik can no longer fight," she declared smugly, while pointing out that Cha Jin-hyuk was now injured and alone. However, Cha Jin-hyuk remained undeterred and coolly asked if she truly believed it was over yet. "Hendrik has a long lifeline too," he said ominously, just as an enormous dragon figure emerged from the flames behind him. It was Hendrik transformed into his dragon state. Shane stood frozen in shock as realization dawned on her. They had been holding back until now. Hendrik's fury boiled over as he demanded to know how she dared force him into this monstrous form while standing protectively behind Cha Jin-hyuk. Thank you for watching my video so far. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. He unleashed a torrent of fiery breath from his dragon maw, obliterating the ground where she had once stood. With a swift leap into the sky, she narrowly avoided the flames, marveling at how the strongest in the tower truly operated on another level. Though she wasn't at her peak strength, she managed to escape, reflecting on the sheer might of her opponent. As she spoke, a swarm of weapons circled around Hendrik, and Shane fired with all her might, resulting in a colossal explosion. When the smoke cleared, Hendrik stood unscathed. With a mocking grin, he asked if she had come armed to swat a fly, which sent a chill down her spine. He then soared into the air, his massive dragon form looming over her as he reminded her of their pact not to kill one another, urging her not to force his hand. Flying at the same height as Shane, he prepared for another fiery assault. She challenged him, activating her shield at full power and asking if he thought she couldn't defend against it. Hendrik unleashed another blast of dragon fire, creating yet another enormous explosion. Meanwhile, Cha Jin-hyuk was struggling to heal himself. Even with divine energy coursing through him, his recovery was agonizingly slow. He suspected he had been struck by a special bullet and realized that since Hendrik had transformed, his buffs and defensive skills had vanished, as if Hendrik's presence was disrupting the very mana around them. Back to Hendrik and Shane, she perched atop his head, and upon closer inspection, she revealed that she had multiplied herself. Clones surrounded Hendrik, each armed and ready for battle. Surprised, Hendrik exclaimed that he should be the only one controlling the mana in this area and questioned how she was managing it. She smirked and explained that it wasn't magic but science, specifically holograms. She declared that even a dragon master of mana was powerless against them. With her holograms aimed at him, they opened fire, but Hendrik effortlessly deflected the bullets. Annoyed and slightly angered, he informed her that no matter how many times she shot at him, it would be futile. As he spoke, he conjured a powerful roar that halted her actions in their tracks. Suddenly, she summoned an enormous sniper rifle, one so large it could rival any beast, aiming to bring down the dragon. Intrigued by this new weapon, Hendrik asked if it was truly real. She confirmed it was the most powerful and dangerous weapon in her arsenal, one she preferred not to use lightly. Hendrik nodded in agreement and summoned his most potent dragon breath attack, unleashing his full strength while hovering in mid-air. Meanwhile, Shane remained grounded with her fully powered weapon ready for action. As Hendrik's attack surged toward her, she fired her powerful bullet directly at it. The two assaults collided in an earth-shattering explosion depicted in a dramatic sketch. Hendrik and Shane appeared confident from one angle. However, from another perspective, their attacks seemed minor until the entire 50th floor blazed with light from their fierce clash. The explosion obliterated everything in its path. When the smoke finally cleared, Shane emerged unscathed within her protective barrier but complained about why she avoided using such destructive power. The antimatter bomb caused her energy levels to overheat during its activation. She smiled proudly at her suit's performance and instructed it to take a breather. Suddenly, her expression shifted to one of terror as Hendrik still towered over her, ready to continue their battle. Panic gripped her as she realized he could still fight. However, luck was on her side as Hendrik collapsed to the ground, unable to continue. Shane burst into laughter, filled with joy and relief at having unexpectedly triumphed over a dragon. But her celebration was cut short by Cha Jin-hyuk, his voice questioning why she was letting down her guard. Shocked into silence, Shane listened as Cha Jin-hyuk reminded her that it was 2 against 1 and asked if she had forgotten about him. Pointing her gun at Cha Jin-hyuk defiantly, she retorted that for someone with a hole in his chest, he sure talked big. She taunted him further about whether he thought his handsome face beneath the Oni mask would change anything about their situation. She continued boasting that her current weapons were more than sufficient to take him down and urged him to admit defeat. However, Cha Jin-hyuk held up one of Hendrik's scales menacingly and declared that it wasn't over until it was truly over. With a fierce bite into the scale, he revealed his plan, to gain dragon powers by consuming its essence. With that, this chapter ends. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Support this channel by liking this video and subscribing the channel. And if you want me to recap another manhwa or manga, write its name in the comments section. And if you want to know that what happened in previous chapters, you can watch them in this channel. Stay tuned for next chapters.